This is a review for our final exam of software applications. ACE classes will be Friday, June 6th. BDF classes Monday, June 9th. It will be 45 multiple choice questions, true and false and matching, 45 questions altogether in HTML, PowerPoint, and Word. And it will be just like all the other quizzes that we've taken throughout the year that you will be able to use the computer to find your answers. You will be taking the exam at your computers in HTML, PowerPoint, and Word. We started the second half of the year with HTML, our hypertext markup language. We know we're talking about codes that allow your browsing software to interpret those codes to form web pages. We call them angle brackets, the less than, greater than symbol, and we know we have beginning tags and ending tags. We'll talk a little bit more about them later on. Some basic information about tags. They are not case sensitive, meaning you can be all uppercase or all lowercase. It does not matter. For the tags to be keyed in Notepad, when we save the file, we give the extension. We've used HTML. It can be HTM, but when we save the file created in Notepad, we must give it the extension HTM or HTML. For the links to work throughout the web pages that we worked with, remember the file name must be spelled exactly as you have it saved. So this is our file name. We would have to have this file stored in our folder, in the same folder as a web page, to be able to make that link work. Some basic introductory tags. We know we need to start with the HTML tag to say that this is a web page coming. The head starts the head section. Again, the question I've asked many times, what is the title tag? What appears in the title tag? Text placed on the title bar. So anything within the beginning and ending title tag is the text placed on the title bar. Our body starts the body. We need an ending body, an ending head, and an ending HTML section. Okay, with that body tag, we had attributes for a background color. We can have a color or a file name, and a different coloring for text, links, active links, and viewed links. We know we're talking about hexadecimal numbering. Hexadecimal numbering has to do with colors. Make sure we know that hexadecimal numbering has to do with colors. Alright, we do need to know the hypertext reference tag, the syntax, the proper way to key it in to make sure that it works. We want to link to the site vt.edu with the user being able to see Virginia Tech as the anchor. So the hypertext reference tag is the instruction that creates the hyperlink. Okay, the http www.vt.edu is the website that we're trying to link to, and the anchor is Virginia Tech. That is the underline that the user will see to be able to link to the website. Okay, and remember we need to end the anchor, so nothing after this is a link to the web page that we're trying to get to. Alright, our table tags. We first need to, we're talking about row and columns. Okay, so we first start with the table tag. The TR tag is the row. TR. We're talking about rows and columns. Okay, bold the text in the table header section. That's your data as the header. And what forms our columns? The table data is our columns. So we're talking about rows and columns. The TR tag starts the rows. When we're done with the row, we end the row. When we have the table data tag, that ends our column. Okay, so the ending table tags go with the beginning table tags to end our row, TR, to end the column, TD. Okay, that's an example. Rows running across, columns running down, TD running down. We use JavaScript to enhance our web pages. For the script that we worked with for classroom purposes, you need to know that must be placed within the head section. Okay, so when I ask you where must JavaScript be placed in a web page, it is the head section after the ending title tag. We then worked with forms. We know we need to give it a name, but with that form, remember there's three parts. The shell that we created, the database that it's stored in, and a program to link the two together. We only concentrated on the shell. So we have a beginning form and a form name. We have the different input types. We know we need to end the form. Okay, so we want to make sure we know our input types. Okay, text is a text box with the field name being address and the size of the text box. Radio button, remember, is only used once. Gender, pizza size, example of radio buttons. You only can have one response. So again, the name is the field name. The value is the individual choice. Okay, then we still need some text outside of the tag for the user to see what they're choosing. Difference between a radio button and a checkbox. Checkbox can be selected more than once. So our input type is checkbox. The name would be the file name of the field name. The value is the individual choice, and again we have a label outside of the input type for the user to be able to see. Our buttons at the end, as defined by HTML, is our submit button, our reset button. Okay, when we're finished, we submit the data or we reset the form. Okay, text area, if we need something bigger than a text box, we can have rows and columns for our text area. And we also had the select tag. So we have our label before the select tag. So this is a pull-down menu with our different options. We have to make sure we end the select tag. Okay, in our form example, again, I'm not looking at you to memorize all these tags, but I do expect you to know where to go to look at the syntax, a proper way to key them in. Alright, we finished HTML with frames. Remember, there's two files that are needed. The main frame page that defines the frame and the index that goes along with the frame. When I define my frames, it can be columns or rows. We use columns. Okay, I'm saying making my first column 20%. This is the wild card, means the rest of the page. So it could be, say, 20%, 80%. I said 20% and the rest of the screen. Okay, so we have two columns. You need a frame source for each column. So an example of a page. Frame source 1 has the file frame index. Frame source 2 has the file first web page part 3.html. So my index file is what do I want to appear in the first column, frame 1. That is a listing of your links or your sites that you want to be able to see where target equals frame 2. We'll talk about the target in a second. For this example, this was our web page that we used. I said I wanted it to be a page about you, so you needed a placeholder, something to appear in frame 2. So the target is where the link appears. We have two frames, so we say target equals frame 2. So when I click on my link in the first hem column, it will appear in frame 2. Okay, so looking something like that. Okay, this was our search engine sites. This is our index file in the first frame. We could click on each one of these sites and it would take us to target equals frame 2, and the page would appear in the second frame.